Welcome to Forever Exiled, the Path of Exile podcast. This is Justin, aka Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
This is episode 44 of our podcast. We're doing it a little bit unique this time in that, we don't get to see each other, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah,
right?
Thank goodness.
I know.
Right.
I was always distracted by your eyes.
It's like you can see into heaven when you look into my eyes, isn't it?
You have beautiful eyes. Do you know what that's
Sid
from?
the Sloth.
Yes,
Sid the Sloth.
So good.
Oh man, those are good shows. Those old school. What was that called? Ice Age.
Ice Age. Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
So you are away for this week.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But yeah, if you notice him sounding sucky, that's why. Well, it'll probably sound pretty clean though. I think it's going to be pretty clean. Real quick shout out this week for our Patreon, Jestify. What a great name. Jestify, joining the Patreon crew. Thank you very much, good sir. And to all of our other Patreons, thanks for all your guys' support and everybody listening. You can check out our Patreon information down below. How's your week, Ty?
It's been a good week. It's been a good week. Let me tell you, this is how much I love doing this podcast. I'm a huge Path of Exile fan, of course, because it's the only game I play, but I'm also a huge sports freak. And right now, the Canucks are playing the Golden Knights Game 7 for round 2 of the playoffs. We haven't been this far in years since the 2011 run, and I'm missing it for the podcast, and I don't care. It's awesome.
Does a Stanley Cup win in the COVID time count? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to say at the beginning that it didn't, but then my wife and I couldn't handle not having sports. Right?
I don't want
we
an
watched the
asterisk
NFL
beside our only ever Stanley Cup win.
No, for sure. But at the same time, it's experience. You know what I mean? All the young kids on the team, they get that run.
Yep.
The experience. But anyway, if you're in Las Vegas or you cheer for the Golden Knights, suck it. And I hope you lose.
Yeah, when this comes out, it's going to be done. So you might be eating crow.
That's right. It's going to be a little bit belated. So now we better win. But it's been awesome. I'm in, I guess what we call it the Okanagan. I'm in Soyuz. It's a nice place.
Beautiful.
It's been a relaxing week with family. Yeah, it really is. But it's technically a desert climate. It's not like the Sahara or anything, but it's a desert climate. But my lips, they love the nice, moist air of the lower mainland where we're from.
Yep.
So out here, my lips are dying. They're like falling apart. I feel like I have no lips at all. And so it's funny though, like when I don't use chapstick, I can tell that my lips aren't doing well, but it doesn't bug me. But the second I use chapstick, I need it the rest of the week or my lips are like screaming in pain. I think there's a chapstick conspiracy that I've never been aware of until we started coming to a Soyuz for summertime. But anyway, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. I went to just quick because it was kind of a funny thing. I wanted to show the world my Path of Exile hoodie in case, there's people around that play because nobody ever recognizes PoE with my PoE swag you got me from ExileCon when we're rocking around our town. So I decided to go into town, into Soyuz to get some A&W. For those that don't know, A&W is like healthy fast food here. And so I'm on my way. I'm following Google on the way to A&W, and I pass and I see this place called Vengeance Fitness. What a wicked name for a gym!
Like everybody's just angry.
Yeah, I know. It made me laugh so hard. Like, imagine the person, like the business person, the person that owns this. That's like, what should I call my gym? And they're just raging about something. And so they call it Vengeance Fitness. And I just picture a whole bunch of super pissed off skinny people there listening to screaming metal music.
Oh, I don't. I picture like 5 foot tall, super jacked. That's what I picture. Just like monster where they can't move their arms. Their delts are like up to their ears.
Oh, man.
They're just yelling at each other for no reason.
Yeah. I don't even think anybody works out there. I think they're just walking around mad between their exercise stations.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I get to A&W and I order my 2 burgers and I forgot what people are like with my appetite when I go out because of COVID. I'm not going out with my family to eat. We're hunkering down and staying down. So we haven't been going out. And this is the first time I've gone in a restaurant in half a year. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I order my 2 burgers and they're 2-3 patty burgers. That's just my appetite that I have. And so as soon as I sit down, like I hear them whispering about me, right? To the staff at the A&W counter. They're whispering about me, and it's like they don't believe. They think one of the burgers for somebody else, and I'm just going to eat one and then leave. As soon as I took a bite of my second burger, they totally freaked out. It was so loud, and they were like, "No, it's on!" And it was funny because they thought the second burger was for someone else. But the whole point of this is, I went on this long drive, I got myself a burger, and nobody talked to me about pathofexile.
Shocking.
That was it. So anyway, the end. But I'm having a great time. How was your week?
My week was great. It was still dealing with the back stuff. I'm slowly getting off my opiates. Actually, I'm off them now. So that's good.
Ooh.
That was the one that are supposed to be addictive. I didn't find them that bad, but except for the one night. But yeah, so I'm off those. Now I'm onto the boring pills.
You're probably going to be a boring prick now. They made you so happy before.
Anyway, those are all done. And so I am working on my lawn after you rudely posted a picture while I was trying to get my lawn going, but threw out my back. So I got all my soil put in. Had a buddy help with 2 truckloads of, I don't know what they call it. It's like a special blend of stuff for leveling out and flattening the lawn. So that's all done. Got a roller yesterday. Rolled it all out. Thing's friggin' heavy as hell.
Of course it is.
It's brutal. Like at one point I started to roll it towards the driveway and I just wasn't thinking and it was in front of me and I was like, oh, it's actually getting away a little bit. And me being the dummy that I am, like tried to stop it. And instead of using my arms that were on the handles, I stuck my foot like in front of it.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. So that hurt. That hurt a little bit.
Yeah. Was it your ankle that took it?
Toes. Yeah, but it did stop. So I saved my car.
Hopefully your kids look to their mom for life lessons and skills.
Yeah, hopefully. For gaming, this guy.
That's right.
What else happened this week? So I'm still moving on with my Christmas lights. That's still a go.
Good.
Yeah. I ordered the lights today. I thought I had ordered the lights previously and they arrived and I had ordered the wrong ones. So
of course you did, just like your support packs. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we'll get into that later. But so I have a lot of 1 meter strands of LEDs, which I'm not going to be using. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those yet. But the new ones are coming. And then,
excellent.
I don't know if I told you this, but I had a piece of garbage rat bag come up to my house at 2 a.m. and steal a bench from my front door.
No.
Yep. She just walked right up past my cameras, picks up a bench, which weighs like 45 pounds and just walked off.
Like the mini me bench, the bench that's so
it's
small
like my
no one
kids
can
one.
actually sit on?
It's just my 2 little girls can sit on it. Yep. She just walked up and took it. 2 a.m. on Monday. I was not happy. And I don't really care because the bench isn't, I couldn't figure it out because it's worth nothing. But it's been in my wife's family for a long time.
Yeah.
So, but long story short, we did end up getting it back. 2 cops came by the house on Wednesday morning to drop it off.
That's very nice. And is it in the same condition?
Yep. This person, I don't even know what to call her. She's a piece of garbage. She thought that because we left it out, it was just hers. That was her opinion.
Oh, one of them, eh? Yep. Oh, so it was kind of stealing, but not.
No, it was 100% stealing.
Well, do you think she thought it was stealing?
Yes.
Or she just forgot to put the free sign on it?
She was gonna. It was apparently gonna be for her friggin'. No, okay, you're right. Some people leave stuff like at their front driveway that says free.
Yeah, near the.
This is literally right beside my front door.
Yeah.
Behind stuff.
And obviously nobody knows, but there's 40 feet until you get like from the curb to your house, right?
Oh, she walked right past my car, didn't even check to see if it was unlocked or anything. She walked right for this bench. And then she actually came back half an hour later and stole 2 of my neighbor's chairs. They had just built this whole new outdoor patio area.
Yeah.
And she stole 2 of her chairs. I was like, who is this He-Man that's walking around with like 2 chairs? She had to have a car somewhere, but she's got like a bench and 2 chairs. Ridiculous. So anyway, we at least got it back. So that was good because that doesn't often happen.
Yeah, that is nice.
If you've been gone, What's your PoE week been like?
Oh man, dude, I've been killing it. But let me just say, I would be crushing it if PoE Mobile was released. Oh my, it'd
Your
be
poor
so
family.
awesome. Oh no, I wouldn't be playing during like beach time or anything, or when we're at the
Liar.
pool. I'd be no, I'd be like, okay, good night, honey. Good night, everybody. All right.
You like lean over to the side.
Yeah, that's right.
Just
Yeah.
this blast of light.
Oh, I'm so tired, and I know it's only 5:30, but I gotta go to bed, and don't fall asleep till 11:30. So hopefully it's not a battery either when PoE Mobile comes out. But
Oh, it will be.
you know how I theory crafted the crap out of my new potential guides?
All right.
Right before I left, I was trying to like min max them a lot, and then I was going to like come up with, okay, I could do this version of the guy, I could do this version of the build, or I could do this version of the build, right?
Mhm.
And so I was going to do that, and I was going to brainstorm about it when I got here. There's nothing to brainstorm. I did it so thoroughly that like I haven't had anything to think about. It's done. I just have to level them, so I can't do anything. And my phone, like, I don't like doing guide replies on my phone. It's too easy to screw things up and click wrong buttons. So I'd like to apologize to everybody, even though this is going to come out after I've actually come back and done all my guide replies. For those following my guides and those that listen to the podcast, I forgot to tell everyone I was going on vacation. So you'll have been waiting 2 weeks for some of your answers. My apologies. But it's been good. Did you do anything? I mean, you obviously died lots in hardcore, probably.
Well, our league ended, and that league was a blast. So we did what did we call it? We called it Forever Exiled HCSSF Challenge. Yeah, so that our league ended on, I don't know, the 3rd, whatever the 3rd was. Yesterday? Yeah, so it ended on Thursday morning, early in the morning. I got 17th, which I got onto the first page. So I'm impressed.
Hey,
yep,
I did basically die. Top 5.
Yeah, it was pretty close. I actually was going to try and get like close to the top 10 because I thought I might be able to pull it off. But so I had a blast in hardcore. I don't normally play hardcore. Neither of us do. It's fun for a change, but there's no way I could play hardcore just regularly. Like I accept the fact that I died, and I died to something that was totally my fault. I frost blinked into a pack in a Al Hazim Conqueror map, and just, you know how like when you reach the mobs, that's when they spawn additional mobs.
Yeah,
it just spawned a ton of spitters, and it was like poof, I was gone. Yeah. So it was just my fault. I shouldn't have flashed so far, like frost blink so far into it. The thing that I would have a really hard time with hardcore normally is just the amount of time to play. Like if I all of a sudden did that and I was like, well, I got to start over. Like I knew as soon as we started the league, if I died day 1, I wasn't restarting.
Okay.
I just wouldn't have had time for it. So yeah, it was super fun though. We had a crazy race right at the end between 2 people, Drone and Tool Barger. They were racing like right down to the finish, and I think on like with 12 hours left, Drone died, and he was actually in first place.
Oh,
he was the highest level, but he did not have the deepest delve. Toolburger had the deepest delve. Those were our 2 awards. And so Toolburger had 12 hours to try and level up higher than him to get the win, and he ended up doing it.
Wow, a double winner.
Yeah, so he won both. So then
wow.
So he won $120 worth of GGG stuff, which he got. I'm happy to say he did get. It didn't go well getting those points to him. So when we did the last giveaway, I did it in the way that GGG kind of didn't recommend, which was they transferred it directly to this person's account. And it took a lot of work. I had to verify who the person was, who their characters are, the name, why I was giving them stuff, which I understand. They got to check that stuff out. And then, so when I talked to them, they said, hey, next time you want to do this, you're actually better off talking to us, and we'll get you codes that user can then use themselves, right? Because then you could technically use it for whatever platform you wanted, because it's just a code. It's like a 16-digit code or something. I was like, great, no problem. So then this one, I talked to them and said, hey, I need to get 2 $60 codes basically for the person who won our event. They got back to me and said, yeah, can you tell us what is their account name and why they want their stuff? And I said, yeah, no problem. Here's their account name. Here's some of their character names, which I talked to Toolburger and got. And then I said, we do a podcast, and we were doing a private league for the community, and he won. And so they gave me the instructions for how to do it, which was kind of weird to me, because what I ended up having to do was to buy points on my account, and then you don't touch the points, and then they take those points off and create the codes. There was a mix up, unfortunately, and that's fine. In the end, it was my fault. It ended up costing me at least double what we originally were going to do for the giveaway, but that's fine. Again, it's not super well explained by Grinding Gear Games, unfortunately. And so if I had read really carefully to make sure I was super sure and maybe gotten confirmation, it wouldn't have been so bad. But I did it. They pulled it off, gave me the codes, and I got the codes to Toolburger. So that's awesome. But I was saying to my son, what happens if like a parent who doesn't play GGG wants to like buy their kid a gift or something? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like there's no way to do that without having an account where you purchase the points first. It's just odd to me that I couldn't just somehow pay them $120 to get 2 codes. I don't know. It just seemed odd.
It is weird that when we call it EB Games, I don't know what it's called in the States, GameStop or something like that.
GameStop.
I forget, but like when we go to our video game store, which is mostly just toys now because everything's digital, but when we go there, there's so many different types of currencies you can buy from that stand or whatever it is, like League of Legends stuff, ESO stuff. I've always wanted to have PoE stuff there. You know what I mean? It'd be awesome to be able to ask for PoE stuff, like just PoE currency from 7-Eleven or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have no idea what goes into getting it out there. I have no idea how much that costs, but it is weird that it is a very difficult thing to be generous with PoE currency.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I just thought it was odd that you have to buy the points onto your account, then they take it, which it does work as long as both people have an account. But again, if my wife wanted to buy something for me, there's no way for her to do that because you have to actually have the original account. So it's weird. But anyway, our hardcore league ended. Congrats to everybody who even played in it, because I know a lot of people just had a blast trying out the solo self-found for some, the hardcore for some, the combination for some. I really liked it. Like I said, I want to do it every league.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. I would like to say that I'm probably going to delete every participant that finished Act 4 and above. And I'd like to congratulate everybody that finished under Act 4.
I love that there's 7 pages of just death. It just looks so good.
Yeah. Did you see? I didn't check. Even though I'm on vacation, it's actually been very busy with family stuff. Do you know where I finished? It was like the top 10, right?
Let's see. What level were you when you died? Like 12?
Oh, I think it was 110.
You were 75th.
111, I think it was.
75th out of 140. So you just cracked the top 50%.
You know what? I'm just brushing dust.
I'm going to call that a win.
That's right. Hey, I think I forget, no offense to our After Dark folk, but I can never remember which episodes I say things on, so I don't mean to repeat content. But I forget which episode it was on, but I predicted I'd die at Dominus. So anything after Dominus is victory.
You also predicted that 85 would be the top level.
No, 87.
Okay.
And how many were higher than 87?
16.
How many characters? 16.
No, more than that. Sorry. 87. Yeah, 16.
And were they all? But some of those are the same people.
There's not too many doubles up in that high. There's actually one person. Yeah. There's 2.
Better than 87.
Cuddles and Chris McGamer HD were the only 2 that had doubles in that above what your guess was. Which that's insane. There are people that leveled. Let's see. Cuddles leveled to 92 and 91. Chris McGamer leveled to 91 and 87. That's crazy.
Kudos to them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But good job to everybody else for trying. There was a lot of people in Discord saying that it's definitely not their cup of tea. They're going to try it. They had a lot of fun. They felt like they sucked, but like it was. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm always going to suck at hardcore. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it.
Yeah.
My guess was 95, and there were only 2 that were higher than that. Just want to point that out, Ty.
No one can hear you. Moving on.
I mean, there's not much to talk about this week, eh?
No, nothing happened.
Pretty dull.
I think I guess episode 45 is coming up next week. So
this week though, there is this weekend, there's a pets and hideouts decoration sale. So if you're hearing this Sunday and you get it on time, you can go get some stuff for cheap. And they got some new supporter packs for Heist, something called Heist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's about it this week.
All right. So today, as of recording, we're September 4 today. It'll be coming, our podcast will be coming out September 6th for us. But September 1st was 10 years since Path of Exile was first announced. I mean, that's even before beta, but that's pretty crazy, hey?
Mm-hmm.
A game this constantly getting more popular and more successful 10 years later. So cool. And even the sequel that's coming out, it's not even a sequel. It's just a huge add-on. It's just so cool. Yeah, so good for you, GGG. I'm happy for you, and I'm very glad you make the game because it's awesome.
So with the 3.12 announcement in Heist, they released their trailer. Did you watch it?
Oh my goodness. I've watched all their trailers multiple times.
They just get me
going.
It's so good.
The art department does such a good job with everything, and you get so excited. How they show off their new skills is in time with the music, and like you and I don't know what we just love the music of this game.
Oh, Camille crushed it. It was so good. Like it always happens where there's like, the mystery boxes and the trailers come out, and it's so fun just listening to them. I know a lot of times you turn off the music or you have it lower, at least in game, because it used to cause a big performance issue. But man, the trailers are just, I love their trailers. They do such a good job.
You know how Hans Zimmer basically does the music for every single movie that exists? It used to be just stuff like Michael Bay, like The Rock and all that kind of stuff. But now it's like he does all the like cartoons. He does everything. Hans Zimmer just does all the music. If Camille ended up doing the music for every single show I watched, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's a private league contest thing that Zizarin is doing for the start of 312. And it's the biggest PoE giveaway that's ever happened. There's like $40,000 in prizes. They actually did a trailer for this event that's happening. I think it's Shopify is like sponsoring it, but they actually had Camille do the audio and the music for their.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's cool.
It's so good.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
sweet. Well, Foog did my intro. Camille will do your intro. Great, done.
Perfect.
Yeah. Hey, you're not busy, are you? So I guess we're going to get into the announcement of 312 Heist. And just as a heads up, we're assuming, like, we're not going to recap what the announcement is. We're just going to talk about it and assume that whoever's listening has already read up on it or listened to it or whatever it is. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you're as excited about it as we are. But
yeah, we're mostly going to break it down into like the parts that we cared about, the stuff we liked. What did you think? What was your overall thought? And then we'll get into the details.
I'm actually very excited. This reminds me of the old school Rainbow Six before it became a first-person shooter. Do you remember what that was? Like when Ding Chavez was your best person, and you never wanted Ding to die, but you would have, your different groups of people going through, and then you would tell them where their stopping point was, and you could say Alpha go or Bravo go, and you would wait. Remember those birds eye? Like
you would like plan it out before you go.
Yeah, it was all about infiltration. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of what it reminds me of. And I don't know, like I've referenced stealth games like Splinter Cell quite often, so having that little niche in there for this, I like it. How about you?
I am optimistic about it. Like, I'm curious to see how it plays out. I don't tend to get like overly excited about a league mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see how it plays, and maybe it'll be a bit more detail as we get through stuff. I love the whole idea. I think it's cool to have another area. I love the idea of slightly slowing down and feeling like it's not all about just zoom, clear maps, fight bosses, clear maps, fight bosses. There's like a new thing to do. I'm hoping that it's more user-friendly than Betrayal. Oh, right. Yeah. Betrayal?
Well, Betrayal, you could have been insanely... I remember the spreadsheets for Betrayal. That's with the Syndicate.
Yeah, it's too much work.
Yeah.
Like it was too... Especially if you wanted to do it in the way that was most optimized. You could just, like we did, just kill everybody. This,
Yeah.
I'm hoping, is not as much thought into it as what that was, but it's a really cool idea. I'm so curious though, like you add 13 new NPCs, you add a new zone and this whole new mechanic. I'm always curious right now about how does this peel into PoE 2, because it would be very odd to develop 13 characters and then
Not use them.
axe them at the end of the league. You know what I mean? Like it would be crazy to do all this work and it not go core. So I always have to assume when there's this much into it that more than likely it becomes a core thing. And I'm kind of curious, how does this tie into PoE 2, or is it just totally on its own and has no bearing on it at all? But I am excited. I have some concerns, but more so just like how I think we'll go into it when we get into the details, but I am excited.
Sure.
I'm always ready to play a new league. Like nothing's going to stop me from trying a new league.
Of course.
Did you think it lived up to its hype?
Yes. Not the, sorry. Well, I don't think everything that, I think it's the content that has the possibility of going core, like all the different loot, like it is 900 new gems. The possibility of like gems changing, having quality differences, new base types, experimental base types, different versions of familiar uniques. Like, all that, like not necessarily the heist is meeting the hype expectations, but I don't know if it's ever actually the league that's the hype. It's always the items and the content that comes with the league that's all the hype. And I definitely think that in that regard, I think they met the hype.
Right.
And
I'm not actually sure. I think it does. I think the idea of it, I have some probably maybe some alternative views when it comes to the new gems and the new uniques. And I'll bring that up much later because I want to pose a question to you. And I just have some thoughts about it that not concern me, but I don't actually care a ton about that. I'm definitely more interested in the mechanic of heist and like how you play it. But I have some concerns regarding the gems and the uniques, but we can chat about that later. So the basic idea behind heist though is you're going to be gathering a team of rogues and you're going to be doing these different jobs, and then you're eventually leading up to a big job. And by doing these jobs, it's kind of bizarre. You build up like this meter, but they have said multiple times, so I really hope they're serious about this, that by killing mobs, it doesn't affect that meter too much, because by the time you get to the max meter, the heist locks and you can't grab any new stuff after a short period.
Right.
So you grab what you can get. You try and get this item at the very end. You try to escape, and then you sell it off, and you progress your heist. I don't know, base. I don't know what you call it, heist area, and all your rogues, and you're leveling them up, and you're giving them stuff, trinkets, and items, and then again building up to the highest. What did they call it? It's like, I can't remember what they were broken into.
Wings?
No, what were the little jobs? What were the contracts? And then I can't remember, it wasn't called a heist though. The actual, maybe it was a grand heist. Yeah, grand heist was like the highest level of it. So yeah, what do you think about that part? Like that this is the mechanic now. You're going to be like, are you into that where you're leveling up other characters and you're managing, these other rogues?
As long as it's fast. Like in other RPGs, I love team-based stuff. You know what I mean? Like I love in Divinity leveling 4 people. I love making or having equipment for 4 people and min-maxing that. Like the Dragon Age games, I absolutely loved it. I'd love to include the Mass Effect games, but they really aren't really RPGs after the first one. And so I do like that aspect. But with Path of Exile, I still want to be playing a lot. Hopefully, it's as fast as Chris said that it was going to be, where you can actually change the equipment of these people or some of the perks. You can improve them or level up certain skills. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, what game is that? What's the Alien game, turn-based RPG, where when some of your teammates die, they're dead forever? What's that called?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it. I can see it. I can picture it in my head.
Yeah, I own every single one. Anyway, it kind of reminds me of that, where you're kind of having to min-max. Do I want to take this person on because they're really good, but they're not actually going to level? Or do I want to level the other person a little bit, because I know this is a little bit easier of a heist? I like that prospect, and I like weighing that risk, that decision-making. It's the stealth decision-making. I really like that. I think it'll be really good if the only thing that's taking a lot of your time is you debating those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the one thing that really didn't interest me with Harvest was how long it would take for me to do something even after I've made a choice to do it. You know what I mean? Like all the growing, all the managing. And this just seems like you can just make a few clicks or swaps, right? Gear's done, great. And if you have a hard choice to make, that's what's taking a long time. It's not the micromanagement.
I actually noticed a big, I don't know what you would call it. It was like a aha moment for me in the league, the private league, was how tedious Harvest was. You know, like in the normal league, once you built it, and it was time consuming and annoying to build it and get it all right, but then it just went. You knew where to plan stuff. Well, I got into the private league and I walked into there and I was like, oh no, I actually skipped it through the whole league right after maybe level 40, because it did help me for leveling. But I was just like, no, I'm not doing this. I just skipped every harvest, every seed cache, because it just was too much work to try and plan it out. So yeah, this definitely does not look harvesty. This looks like, because it's not even map based, right? Like this is completely separate, besides the fact that the contracts drop in the map.
Mm-hmm. And we know that Chris was, because I mean, everybody's been pointing out, including us, that Chris was hyping 3.12 at the beginning of 3.11. So we know that this isn't even a response to people's constructive criticism about Harvest. It's simply just what they had in mind. Well, as far as we know, maybe they did change it, but
I was chatting with Tarky the day before or the day of the release. Can't remember. I think it was the day before. And I was laughing that I was expecting Chris to hype 3.13 during his interview with Ziggy.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool. No, we'll get there.
Wouldn't be cool. It's a terrible thing to do.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's awesome. I love that tweet that they sent where they said, okay, at least one of the following is going to be in 3.12. 900 skill gems, 13 new NPCs, a new hub area, a cat with a monocle. Like it all came true.
Yep.
I think that's really cool.
I do, up until I don't agree with the 900 skill gems, but we'll talk about that part later. So the heist is shared between characters. That's awesome, at least. Like if you really do make somebody else. And it definitely, I don't even know if you have this. I assume you do somewhere. The fact that it's me and you playing together friendly is that's the very first thing I wanted to talk about after we like it's interesting how it's co-op ability, you know, like because you both get things at the end, that means you can both sell, that means you can both progress your rogues and progress your hideout. I mean, I'm not so sure about the whole idea of like, okay, I'll give you this item, you know, I give you the heist to work on this wing or whatever. Maybe, I don't know if that will actually be a thing, but just the fact that you can play it together.
That you're both getting better with the league content as you play co-op.
Yep. Awesome.
That's it. Like even with Delve, when they made it so that I think originally, now I might be wrong, so don't go getting all mad at me on Discord about this, but I think originally when Delve came out, only the host of the party got the Delve, and then later on they changed it so that everybody else could get it at a whatever percentage. And even that's awesome. So I'm really excited about this. I wanted to paraphrase this note on party play, but I'll read it because it's paraphrased it's already condensed very well. When you run a heist in party, multiple artifacts will be available to steal assigned to each party member, which is what you said. You'll also each gain intel and rogue experience if you succeed at the heist. Another benefit is that if you die and drop your contraband, your party member can collect it for you and then share it, obviously if they're nice. But you could even pool your intel resources, like you said, and help build a big blueprint for your big grand heist if you want to as well. So it just seems so great. But I found it really interesting that the variety of content leagues provide is more important than co-op ability each league. Did you notice when Chris said that with Ziggy's interview?
No.
He's like, we get that some leagues aren't really good for co-op and some are, but that just comes with us coming up with different, you know, like if we made every league co-op capable, you'd have very similar leagues over and over and over.
I don't think I agree with that. I understand it and it's fine. Like, again, we've talked about this lots. We can both disagree with something they say, but know that in the end, they've got the best intention of the game.
Right.
But I don't know that I fully believe that, but I am at least glad that this upcoming one will have it.
Right. Yes, me too. And I was going to say the same thing. On the outside, I disagree with that. I think if you have co-op as a cornerstone of your franchise, there's ways to do it. There's ways to be creative about it. But at the same time, like you said, I don't know what it's like to need to come up with new content every 3 months for millions of people.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you're looking at numbers, you're looking at revenue, you're looking at ensuring that enough money is coming in for all your employees, this, that, and another thing. So anyway, I'm super excited. I'm really excited to play with you this league and see how it's done, especially because I'm going to be able to keep up, because you're going to go into a room and you're going to wait for people to pass by the room and I'll be able to catch up to you.
You think I'm not just going to kill everyone?
Well, I'm changing the subject to something awesome. Did you see the huge Mech Dog in the trailer?
Yeah, like he's walking in the background of one of the doors.
Yeah, that was awesome. I hope that's a thing.
What do you think about it? This just puts me into thoughts of like when we used to play single player games, taking turns, and especially RPG style games where you got to level up and you got to pick stats to go into.
Yeah.
The idea of working your way to the final item. And now you have to remember that final item actually has no bearing at all in the game. It's a unique item that you cannot wear. All you're doing is selling it. But as soon as you open it, the whole heist ends in the fact that now you're trying to get out. But on your way to getting that item, there's rooms that you can open, which will increase the, what did they call that bar? It's basically like your stealth meter. I don't know what it's actually called.
Alert level.
Perfect. On your way there, there's rooms that you can open up, and opening those rooms and opening the chests within those rooms increases the alert level. I was reading that and watching that going, man, lockpicking is always like one of the first things we go for, so we can steal everything. How hard is it going to be to be going through a level and see a chest and be like, I'm not supposed to open that?
Yeah, I know. Or you're looking at your alert level and have to weigh the odds. I think one thing that I really liked about what Chris was mentioning with the strategy of it, if it stays the same until release, is not only is it about that alert level, but you're also thinking about every door you open is a path that once you have the artifact, once your heist is done, you have the artifact. When the building goes into lockdown, all the doors you've opened are how many enemies and and the direction that they rush at you from. So you're also thinking about your exit as you're going through your entrance. You know what I mean? And
he said that when the alert level meter fills, you've got like a few seconds before it all locks down so that you could actually try and grab it. If you were playing in a full group and somebody was standing where the final item is, and all the other players planned to open all the doors and open the chests, couldn't you click the little blue thing to just teleport to the one player who's at the end? Like, I wonder if that blue button is going to work.
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know if you can go that far away too, right? We'll have to see what that's like.
Yeah, anyway,
I'm sure they've thought of it.
The idea of, you think so? I think they're like this. Yeah. I think they're new to multiplayer, Ty. I think the idea of what people might do, they'll be like, oh my God, we didn't even think about that. I feel like people will find a way to abuse the multiplayer. Maybe. I have a feeling, but that's fine. I don't actually care. Fixed. Yeah.
And one thing I'm actually really excited for is when you and I get to the end, and we can only choose one artifact. And some of these heists, I don't know if it's only the grand heist or if it's the smaller ones that lead you there. I forget which, but there's multiple artifacts to choose from. You can only pick one. The second you open one, all the other ones are locked. It's impossible to open.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's cool because you know what you're picking. Like those glass cases per se, that's like your intel that you had it ahead of time. So that's, you know what you're going for. So it's cool. Like you're going and you could click on the wrong thing, or you have to pick between your build or my build. Obviously you're going to give it to me, right? So I can keep carrying you, but yeah, it's pretty cool. One thing I really like is that all the markers, contracts, and blueprints, all the stuff you need for the league, they're just random drops in your maps. It's just, as you play the game, the league content just drops. Exactly the way you wished Delirium worked.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. And this one stood out to me. I know it was emphasized a few times, so everyone's going to know this, but this one stood out to me. The escape is not timed.
Yeah, I think that's
Like,
good too.
this isn't technically timed. It's so
Well, and none of it's really timed
not
because
really,
the alert
no.
level doesn't increase over time. It just it increases based
Right.
on what you do, which is great.
Are you finding this really weird how much we've agreed on stuff so far? I'm used to arguing with you about very stupid things that you're constantly wrong about, but so far, I don't know. I feel like I've died and I'm in an alternate dimension right now.
I'm sure it'll come. We just started.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just wait.
You did disagree on the 900 gems.
And I'll tell you why, but not yet.
Okay. Did you hear in the interview with Chris and Ziggy that Chris said that micromanagement does break immersion?
Yeah.
Like the immersion you have in the game. It was cool to hear him say that. I mean, whether that came as a realization after Harvest or whether they've known that since 2010, whichever, but it was cool to hear him say that. It kind of gives you emphasis that if they are adding some sort of micromanagement system in the game, it's not going unnoticed. So I thought that was cool, just to hear one of the bosses say that. But one thing, I didn't know where to put this, so I'm just going to say it now. In the Q&A, or was it the AMA? I forget. Heist enemies can be used as specters.
Only you would notice that.
No, specters blew up in popularity. They are so much more popular since they added, 350 new corpses are available to be as specters. Oh my goodness, imagine if my in-laws walked downstairs and hear me talking about raising corpses. Anyway, but yeah, like specters everybody seems to be aware of like the best or the more prominent specter for each element now. Even new people are like, hey, which specter was I supposed to be using for lightning damage again? And so I don't know. I think that's cool. I'm excited to hear what people have to say about that.
Yeah, it's cool that it happened, but everybody is also now very focused on like which specters are currently the strongest, and they just go with that route. It's no different than the meta. And unless some of these heist guys, maybe they're super awesome, but it's pretty common where people go, oh, this is like Spectre that's overkill, killing everything, amazing. So everybody goes, yeah, this is the meta for Spectres. You're the only one I know that like just raises Spectres as they die.
I think it's fun. I'm going to add Spectres to casting damage taken just for fun next week. I'm going to have a wasted 4-link just for that. Now, this is kind of cool timing with our, hardcore test league that not test league, but the hardcore league that we did. Heists are kind of like hardcore. You don't get portals to a heist. You get one attempt and then it's done. I like that. I like that a lot because it's not part of the core game, but it does require thought and patience. But your character, like, it doesn't impact your character, it just impacts your reward. And I really like adding like those hardcore aspects to different parts of the game. I think it's cool.
So I love it. I think it's so cool that they're doing that. But well, for one, I'm actually a little surprised that you liked it because this is, you're going through every single item that you pick up is not actually yours until you escape the heist and you know what you got. So if you die, you also know what you lost. And I'm surprised that you're okay with that. I think it's fun. I think it's really cool that they've added that, but I'm trying to think, this somewhat goes back to our conversation in Harvest, and it didn't turn out to be have a very big impact because there were so many crafts that you could get. But my concern with the heist and the, hardcore thought is not dying. I'm fine with that. If I do something stupid and it's just too hard, I made it too difficult and I can't get out, totally fine. It's like Metamorph. But if I disconnect or the server hiccups or something happens that was not my fault, that's going to be really frustrating. So I hope, just like they did with a lot of other releases, their servers were crazy good. I hope with Heist that's the case.
Yeah, they have really gotten a lot better, that's for sure. Yeah, I kind of agree, but at the same time, I'm fine with that hardcore content with this type of thing because it seems like you're capable of being slow paced. You're capable of taking time to think things out. You're not on a timer basis. You don't have to be rushed. And it's 100% optional. It's not something that's required for you to go through, right? One thing that I get the hardcore element of the labyrinth, but I hate the labyrinth. This, as far as I can tell, it's not about traps. Maybe there will be traps in these. It doesn't seem like it from the trailer, but this is just a similar to a mapping experience. But this map, think of it like, okay, here's a corruption area, but all corruption areas are hardcore. You don't have to do it. So I like it.
It's just the idea of that if you have something drop that is like crazy good for you, I love the fact that it actually puts you into a different mindset. Now it's like, oh my God, I have to figure out how to get out of here now with this item.
Yeah.
And as long as it's on me and okay, I screwed up because now these mobs are too hard for me to get out or whatever.
Yep.
Then I'm fine with it. But yeah, I really hope the servers are like up to snuff and everything's great on the server side, because that would suck to lose it to, a disconnect.
Yeah. Maybe it wouldn't lose it. Who knows? But yeah,
No,
yeah,
I'm sure
I'm
you
excited about. Okay. Okay. Now we know. But it is cool that this is content you can ignore. I'm interested in it, and I'm not going to ignore this one. But I like it. Even Harvest you could ignore. I mean, the rewards were stupid to ignore. So even if you hated the Harvest element, like I was pretty foolish to just completely ignore it, because the rewards, even just for leveling, were so good.
What league haven't you been able to ignore though? I mean, you could technically ignore any of them.
Okay, yeah, I guess so. Well, I guess it continues the theme, but I like it. Like, it's just a normal drop and you can get rid of it, and that's that.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm not going to, though.
No.
I'm excited about it.
This would be a weird one to not want to play. Like Harvest, I can understand why a lot of people weren't into it. I liked it, but I can understand why people weren't. This one would be a very odd one to not be into, because you're leveling something else. There's a very RPG style to it. It's slightly less action RPG-ish, just because there is that, slow down time, which I like. I'm happy to have something like that, but I hope people will play it and give it a chance. Hopefully all those people who are like, I'll never play again, hopefully they'll give it another chance.
I hope they never play again. One thing that I noticed was when they were talking about the specifics, I think it was in the Q&A, about where you turn in different things, like where you turn in your contracts, where you get your blueprints from, where you turn in your artifacts. It was a different NPC for each thing. I hope those NPCs are close together.
Yeah, they probably can't move.
What is it? Is it Highgate? I hate Highgate.
At least they're all close.
Around and but Highgate's not that close. Like, you have those people in Act 4 that are like at the top, where later in Act whatever it is, there's the corpse there instead. And then who's the guy? Tisoni or something? What's his name? The divination card guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a ways away. Anyway, I just hope all the NPCs are close together so it's easy to go through. Like Act 1, that'd be awesome.
You don't want to walk through the whole new zone?
Once. No offense to everybody that worked so hard on it, but once. That's it. Oh my goodness. Imagine going to Act 3. Remember when, before the Masters changed, Leo. Remember where Leo was?
Yeah, way at the top.
Oh, he was, what is that? That is Act 3, right? Yeah, it is. So you have everybody at the bottom. They're relatively close, except for the guy that was really gimped that doesn't show up in the second half of the game. What's his name? Grigor? They're all close. But then if you wanted to talk to Leo and get that dot damage craft, anyway.
I think we've covered the mechanic, no? Of
Yeah,
Heist, like what it is?
Oh, man. Okay. I am so excited for trinkets. So, hey, I assume you did. You noticed trinkets? Like, I can't. I am so excited for trinkets. There's no way this is temporary.
Now, are you talking about trinkets on the idea of what you're giving to your rogues, or where there's a new slot for yourself?
A slot for ourselves for the first time ever. And just as a personal bragging note, I noticed this and then it was said. So I feel like even though the podcast wasn't out then, I feel like I totally nailed it ahead of time. But this is the first time ever that they've added an extra equipment slot since the release of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like having a jewel equipment slot instead of a tree jewel slot.
Doesn't it only affect Heist though?
I think right now it only affects Heist, but there's no way that that's going to get taken out. Well, I mean, it very well could, but just the potential of having a miscellaneous equipment piece there that'll give a buff to buff's not the right word, but that'll give a buff to whatever it is that rolls or whatever it is that can't. Oh, so cool. But anyway, I love the prospect of trinkets. Oh, so cool. They're all dropping corrupt, which I think is really awesome as an introduction too. Like it's not about crafting these new trinkets and trying to min-max at the best. It's just they drop corrupted. And I think that's an awesome way to introduce anything like that. I think it was really cool. So I'm excited about trinkets, even though they only impact the league mechanic, but I think it's sweet. What about quality gems? You brought that up. You're a little pissy pants about that. It is 900 new gems. Okay. Like every single, they went through 433 current gems active in support, and they gave each one at least one new quality benefit. That's amazing. It's like some of these actually dramatically change how the skill functions, not just a different perk. I think it's amazing. I can't wait.
I'm not arguing that it's negative. First off, it's not adding more gems. You're just changing them. And quality to a gem is obviously important, but did you quality every one of your gems when you played? If you played in a league, don't talk standard. Don't talk standard. Talk in a league.
Well, no, I died in Act 3.
Well, even in a normal league.
Act 4. See, look how great that is. I died in Act 4.
Even in our normal leagues, though, you're not qualitying all your gems.
Oh, don't you remember last league when I was doing my sweet SRS Guardian, how ineffective I was because I always 20% my gems as soon as they hit level 20?
Where are these alternate quality gems dropping? Because is it not in the... Are these not results of the heists? I thought I remember them talking about them as part of the grand heists.
I don't remember if it was... I think it is just league content, but I don't actually remember. But either way, no matter which one it is, I'm 20%ing it all the time. Every time my gems get to level 20, I'm always getting the 20% gems. And I always have my GCP stash ready to go. All gems over, 14% get added to that stash. I trade them in for GCPs.
The problem for me with adding them as alternate quality gems, I like it. It's fine. It's not like I'm against it, but it's a little more difficult to plan a build around because they're obviously not as easy to get a hold of from what it looks like. If they are actually dropping from the grand heist, that's really crazy. I can't imagine that's the only way to get them, but it's already enough work to keep track of how many gems there are and what quality does to those gems. Now you are keeping track of those gems and now what potentially up to 3 different versions of quality can do to it. That's quite a bit.
Oh, I think it's great though. It's such an interesting way to add that many more gems because you're familiar with the skill. And if you're not familiar with the skill, you're relearning the skill anyway, even if it only had one type of quality to it. So now, I mean, I don't know how much Righteous Fire has or zombies or whatever. Oh, that's right. The minions are going to have different Oh, that's so awesome. So anyway, like you're familiar with the skill already. Or let's say you only are familiar with 20 skills, but now you just have a small variance. It's not like a brand new skill with a new mechanic, like the steel stuff that we're going to get into later. So I think it's a smart way to really increase a learning curve without there being too much to learn. Either way, I think it's awesome. I don't remember how you get them though.
Yeah, well, it kind of ties into the next topic, which is the new replica uniques, which is cruel. It's really crazy that now uniques can drop with totally different things. Like they aren't even the same item anymore.
In a way, there's a mod that dramatically changes the type of build that you would have used the original unique for. I like the idea.
Okay.
What?
Okay, this problem ties into some other stuff, and it's not a problem, but we're talking about uniques, the replica uniques, and alternate quality gems that are, from my understanding, dropping in the heists and in the end game. I'm going to call it end game content. They're dropping in the end game content, most likely.
Sure.
My problem is, and Chris said in his interview with Ziggy, that GGG understands that their retention, once players gets to maps, is phenomenal.
Yep.
And I don't care about the retention rate of the people who are quitting before Brutus, because it's exactly like he says. People go, oh, it's free to play. I'm going to download it. It's not like League of Legends. I don't like it. It's too hard. I can't figure it out. And I don't want to go online. I don't want to watch a YouTube video. That part, I totally understand. Those people are going to fall off. But when you have a higher retention rate because people got to end game, so I'm just putting you in a situation, you get to end game and you're playing maps. And by this point, you're crushing heists and you're doing the stuff. And an alternate quality gem drops or a replica unique drops that you're like, wow, I could totally think of a way to make a build with this, or this could be incredible to this type of skill or this type of play style. If you want to use it, you're going through that same annoying 10 acts to get to the part where you can start using it.
Why?
Well, how are you using a level 70 unique?
Well, but that's the exact same thing it is with any other unique that drops it as a level 70 requirement.
Yeah, but you've now added even more of them. And if
That's
the
fine.
idea, no, it's not. If the idea, and he understands that the retention rate is increased when people get to maps, I wish we've talked about this before. I wish they would figure out some other way to allow you to get to maps faster, especially if you've done the act once. Because I don't want to I know for sure I will not get to the end game, get an amazing replica unique or alternate quality gem and decide, yeah, I'm going to re-level a new character through act 1 to 10 because I like them so much. Even though I would probably love to, I don't want to do act 1 through 10 again.
But are these gated in endgame? I don't think they are. I think they're league only stuff that you can do at any point.
Well, you're not getting, though, a high level unique to drop when you're level 40.
No, but do you know if the like, let's say a normal, whatever unique it was that you're thinking of, let's say it's normal level requirements 32. Mm-hmm. Does the replica, did you, like, because I might have missed it, is the replica version of that required at level 70, or do you think it, or do you know if it would also be at 32?
Like if it still requires the higher level? It does. So like they have an example of a level 61 required shield. The replica version of it that drops also requires level 61.
Oh, okay. Well, then it would be the same thing no matter which unique drops. It would have been the same circumstance for it anyway. Then.
Fine. But now you've added even more that are cool, especially now there's ones that have totally different stats that are totally different for a different build. But you're still making somebody go through act 1 through 10 again. And I that's where I have a problem with. It's not specific to Heist. I love the idea of adding all these quality gems and all these new uniques, but you haven't done something to make it so that when you get those items, you're more inclined to be like, yeah, you know, I went through, here's my thinking. I went through act 1 to 10 and I did it. I finished it. Kitava, act 10, dead. I can now go into maps. Yeah. And the problem for me is because you actually can't do maps, which Chris knows is what keeps retention high until you finish act 10, right? You have to kill Kitava at the end. Then you go through that little thing with Kurek and whatever. Okay. And now you're welcomed into playing maps, right? That's what unlocks it, no matter which character you've made.
Okay.
So I wish they would come up with something where like, okay, I've gone act through 110, done it. I'm now in maps. I've gotten it. Play the game for a while, get some items. And I go, you know what? This unique looks crazy. This new quality gem they've introduced is crazy because it's more likely you'll see those now that they've added so many, right? You have this huge increase in quality of gems. I don't know what the percentage is, but it sounds like you're 30, 40% increased in uniques. You're probably going to find something that's like, dang, that's really fun, or that would be really cool if I did this. So now I can create a new character. I can go to my hideout and Kirak or somebody, give Kirak a job, just starts opening portals to random low tier maps. Maps don't drop, but I can go and play. I can level while doing maps, getting then my actual tier drops from those maps. I get to wherever the level is for act 5 or 6. And Kirak says, hey, we need some help. Kitava's doing something. And you go fight Kitava just like you would in act 5. You finish it. You get your debuff or whatever from the thing. You go back to him, Kirak. He opens random portals. You get to map, get towards like level 60. He says, we need some help. You go fight Kitava the last time. And you're actually back into endgame stuff, but you didn't have to go through the tediousness of 1 through 10.
Yeah. No, I get it. And I agree. I don't like leveling. It'd be nice if there was a fast track to it. I can see how the replica uniques might encourage or discourage how often somebody would go, but I don't think it should keep them from adding more uniques to the game. And
it's bizarre to me, though, that they knowingly are doing that. They know, like Chris said, we know our retention is awesome when people hit maps.
Right.
So why would you not do something to increase the amount of people that are in maps?
Oh, I don't disagree with you at all. Especially for a first campaign, you should go through to filter people out for the people that love the game, have a fast track. But at the same time, let's say they've considered that and they've nixed it and it's not going to happen, a fast track. they're going to go ahead and add whatever content, and it's just going to be the same news as usual,
Which is fine. I'm just saying that for me, finding a replica unique or a cool alternate quality gem, if I've gotten to the point in the league where I'm, maybe feeling that burnout of the build I'm doing, but don't want to do Act 1 through 10, you're not retaining those people by saying, yeah, if you want to play with this new cool item you got to do 1 through 10 again.
Possibly. Yeah.
No,
I don't.
This will be our.
I don't disagree.
We can 100% disagree if you want on here, because you will. People don't want to do Act 1 through 10 more than one time. It just gets super frustrating.
If you needed a different build for it, sure. If you needed a different starting class for it, sure.
Well, it's different if it's an upgrade to your current build. I'm not talking about that. But there are some replica uniques that are so different that it is not tied into your current build, like even at all. It's totally different. How you like, they give you the example of Tukahama's Fortress, that shield, that red shield.
Sure.
Which is plus to max summon totems, and you get armor per totem, and there's blood magic and stuff like that, right? Sure. The new replica version they show is you can cast an additional brand and you have increased critical strike per brand. That's not even, there's no way you're just going, okay, this is a sweet upgrade to my totem build.
Well, yeah, if it drops, but we have zero control over what drops. It's the same RNG that it was before. Like, I'm not disagreeing that there shouldn't be a fast track. I think there should be. I don't think they should stop doing anything or not add more uniques until they come up with a fast track, though.
I'm not disagreeing. I also agree with you. I don't want them to stop doing them. But what I look at when I see this wasn't exciting to me, because the alternate quality gems, I'm not seeing them till the end. I'm not seeing those new. So the only thing I'm doing is probably trading for them, which I don't like. I don't like the trading side of it. But I'm not, if it is indeed from these, higher level heists, especially for the item drop of the uniques, because I don't get to see them until the end, it just sucks. Because when a unique drops for me, even if I'm not playing that build, even don't count all the new replica uniques, and I go, dang, it would be really fun to build something with this. I want something added. I'm not saying that it is anything against Heist at all. I love the idea of Heist. It looks super fun, but I want something that lets me get to the maps, the part that keeps me playing their game longer, quicker.
I hear you. Now stop being a Debbie Downer. You want to know what's really awesome? All these uniques can be added to the unique stash tab.
Cool.
There's nothing better than that.
That's a lot of uniques sticking out now.
Hey, I'm up for it. Also, the Canucks and Vegas are tied at the almost at the end of the second period. I know, right? Because by the time people listen, it'll be 2 days later. Experimental base types. I'm a rare freak. Now, not literally in terms of there's very few freaks that are like me. I am a freak for rare items. And this is awesome. This, to me, having experimental base types, it's even more long-term potential for rares. You know what I mean? I see this type of thing staying long-term. I think it's so cool. Do you have any thoughts on experimental base types?
No, I'd have to see them.
Oh, can't wait. You haven't seen any of the examples yet? Some of them are so cool. I just love the prospect of, this is going to be one of the many tests, per se, in the game that we're doing for PoE 2. And this is one of the many tests in this game that the fancy rares that are heist specific, they're going to drop with much better mods and socket luck. You know what I mean? It's almost like they were re-rolled many times with fossils. I'm a little nervous about that, but we'll have to see how it plays out, because I like the prospect of impossible rare mod combinations. You know what I mean? Like, I love the 1 in a million chance that you're going to get this when it drops or when it crafts. I'm fine going through 50 crappy boots to get one really good boot. But this isn't the same decluttering project that they're working on for Path of Exile 2. This is it's not the same thing. They're experimenting with a different version of it to see how it works and what the feedback's going to be like, but this isn't actually their decluttering project that they're hoping to implement. So
yeah, I heard him say that. I can't wait till they actually come up with the decluttering.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I love items. Obviously, it'd be nice to filter it a bit more, but goodness, I like adding more base types. That just blows my mind. Or even having the chance that, like, I don't know, let's say a Maricath bow drops. It probably wouldn't be this type of bow, but let's say that type of bow drops. wouldn't it be neat to, yes, I finally got that base type. I really hope it's one of these three. Like it's now you have a chance it's going to be one of three implicits. It's not always going to be the same implicit. I love that. I love that. It's a great way to add, okay, only good items are going to drop, but now you have way more mods to go through. I freaking love it. No, not you. You're done?
Yeah.
You quit?
Yeah. My opinion's still the same.
Okay.
I don't actually care if they add more base types or not until I see them. Especially because if it is just for this league, then it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a really cool way for them to add specific value to weapons, have a certain base type drop, but it might not work for you as perfectly as it previously would have because of whatever implicit drops. And then it also gives them the ability to have good mods, like better mods roll on all these items because the implicit you're really hoping for might not match. And so therefore all those good rolls might not matter for you. I like it. I think it has a lot of good potential. Next.
Debbie.
What a crappy movie.
So good though. So they've got the new weapon and body enchantments, which is, I actually thought they were really cool. I only saw 2 in what I was looking at. Maybe there's more. I'm hoping to see more because I think it's awesome. Until you die and don't get out with it.
yeah. But weapon and body armor enchantments, how great is that? I think everything has a chance now except for jewelry and shields, but oh my goodness. Same thing as above though. Like it adds the prospect of so many more possibilities, and now that certain armor piece, I don't know. I wonder if it's modifiable or if I'm already thinking it's going core, right? So I'm thinking like, oh man, how do you do it, or how do you change that enchantment?
I would assume you can't. I would assume that once it drops, that's it.
In the current state, yeah, but I'm already thinking it's going core, like it's long term.
Well, wouldn't they have to bring out like a new type of currency or something then to be able to change that?
Well, yeah, or change labs or add something to labs. Yeah. But still, I think it's awesome.
It is cool.
Did you see the curse rework? This makes me pee my pants, man.
This was hilarious because you texted me before I'd even had a chance to read about the release because I just didn't have time on Tuesday?
You're welcome for spoiling it.
It wasn't a spoil at all, but you were freaking out about the curse rework. And then I read it and I was like, it's not that big of a deal. without actually seeing it or getting more information. Because it's kind of, you probably have a lot more information because I skipped over this pretty quick, but it's really, really hard. Well, maybe you can explain it to me, but it's really hard from what they've released that I've read to understand entirely how this is going to work.
Okay.
I feel like you're going to be making some assumptions in here.
I have never assumed anything in my life, and I have also never been incorrect. So
right,
I've also never lost an argument with you. Would you like to talk about dots?
Actually, I just want to point out that GGG actually said if you're disconnected and the alarm's gone off, you can't rejoin your heist, so you do lose it. Just wanted to point that out.
Oh, sweet. Okay. No, I'm glad. Congratulations on your first victory, even though it wasn't a disagreement. I've said many times, though, throughout the years that we've been doing this, that I trust GGG, whether we agree, with what they're doing or not. It's completely irrelevant to us. We totally trust them. And any changes they make, I know they're going to be better for the game. But I still get so nervous when they're making changes to my favorite parts of the game. And obviously for me, that's minions and curses. So self-casting curses now can be a primary skill for damage, which is really cool. Some curses now are going to be called what's called hexes, and maybe the other curses are still called curses. I don't know. And when I think it's hexes, I forget which one. I think it's hexes. When you cast a curse that's a hex, when it expires or it's replaced, it does chaos damage. Like curses actually do damage. They don't just per se debuff an enemy. So it's really cool. And there's even a support gem that adds that as well. So I don't know if you can add that as a damage bonus to the pre-existing curses, or if it's only something you can add to the curses that don't per se explode with chaos damage. But impending doom support now adds that element as well. So it's super, super cool. I think one really interesting, completely different mechanic to curses now is that they get better over the duration that they're on the enemy. So let's say, I don't know, like I don't know the actual numbers. I assume all the numbers have been reworked for the sake of this gradual thing. So let's just use temporal chains for an example. Let's say my maximum temporal chains, like this most I can slow someone is 30% slower. When I cast it, it's not going to be 30% immediately. It's going to be low, and then it's gradually going to work up to it. So I'm quite excited for that. I'm very curious though, and I think that's actually really smart. You know what I mean? Because then I can have something that's constantly getting cast, like something attached to a cast when damage taken level 1, and its max is going to be lower, but it's also not going to be immediately strong. So I kind of like that prospect. But I'm curious how increasing curse duration impacts that maximum effectiveness of the curse. Like if I increase my curse duration, does that work against me? So let's say, again, I have temporal chains at 30% as my max, right? If the normal curse lasts 5 seconds, but I increase the duration to 6 seconds, does it? So I'm like, obviously this is going to be explained, but this is just how my brain's working right now. If I increase the duration of a self-cast temporal chains to 6 seconds, does that just mean it takes that extra amount of time to reach my max? Or does it work like improving curse effectiveness, where the duration is longer? It means that my maximum slow is also higher. I don't know. Maybe they're going to change it all to be one big different thing, or you know what I mean? Maybe they'll change the tree so that all that terminology makes sense. But you know what I'm really excited about? I know you're going to be super excited about this. That some of the curses are actually called hexes now. Before, there was something called hexproof, and there was zero tie to anything in the game. What the heck is hexproof? If you're new and you came into the game and you're like, oh, cool, hexproof. Neat. Nothing in the game and nothing else in the game is called a hex. So, okay. And obviously it referred to curses once you've gone and checked the wiki, but there was no correlation to it. So I'm glad that there's kind of a correlation. Did you see the change to punishment?
Yep. Again, I glossed over it. I figured you were going to be more affected by these things than I would.
Well, I'm glad that it got an all taken care of girls' night out. I'm glad it got a makeover. It was way too specific and it didn't work for the type of chaotic game that Path of Exile is. So I'm glad it got a makeover. So I assume, even though I'd never make assumptions and I'm always right about everything, I assume they're going to come out with a kind of an explanation, one of their announcements that kind of shows how these things are going to work. But I have questions. How do the curses now work with blasphemy? Are they always at max power? And can you use impending doom with stuff like that? Probably not. But how does it interact with cast when damage taken? Oh my goodness, I hope there's still spells. And so anyway, but here's one thing that I thought was quite interesting, and I hope the terminology is clear regarding this. So, this is related, with minion instability, you have when your minions get to low life, therefore, or die, they explode, right? But let's say I have skeletons, and I'm at my max skeletons. What is that, 9? Without any perks or with perks, whichever. And if I have 9 skeletons and then I raise more, the skeletons that are being replaced, they don't actually die. They're just simply replaced. I don't know what the proper term is, but They're replaced. And so therefore minion instability doesn't proc. It doesn't initiate.
Yep.
It's curious to me that with this impending doom support with curses, that your curse limit, the curses don't have to expire. You can replace them as quickly as you want. Like if I have a curse limit of 1, and I cast temporal chains, but then I cast temporal chains again, or enfeeble, that impending doom does explode and the curse does chaos damage. It seems kind of the opposite. So I'm curious to see what the terminology is that they're using. Because with impending doom, there's no way, unless you focus on low life. As a new person, that might be a little difficult. But for me, I remember the longest time thinking that with minion instability, as a newer player, I was thinking like, yeah, okay, I'm going to make a build. I'm going to have my SRS out, and then whenever they expire, it's going to be bang, 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 bang. And it wasn't the case. So I'm just curious. I'm hoping that it's going to be good. I think it's just a note. It's not a criticism. It's just a note. I'm excited to see what all the terminology is on all these gems, and like terminology is already such like a very picky, fine-tuned thing that GGG does need to be concerned about, of course, otherwise you're miscommunicating. And when you add all these new mechanics and new aspects to the game, it's got to be so hard to be whoever it is that needs to explain, like the person that has to come up with the text for the gem. Oh, I can't imagine. They got to like create a new language.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. You ever played with the steel skills?
No, I remember when they were first released, watching Ethan play with them, but I didn't find them that appealing.
Yeah, me too. They got completely reworked, and then they added a new element to them called shards as well. You know what I really like? I like that GGG's not scared to rework newer skills if they don't feel like those skills are being used as often or used in a way that they wish they would. Like, there's not pride associated to it, and they're just going to let them fall by the wayside. If they're new and they're not working, they change it. And I think that's really cool. I really like that. What about the spells? Did you take a look at those?
The new firewall looks kind of cool.
Oh my goodness. Did you realize before this skill was announced that we as Path of Exile players never had a firewall? Did you realize that?
Well, I knew that there wasn't one. I don't know that I ever specifically thought, there's no wall of fire. But I did know that there wasn't one.
I never realized a wall of fire was missing, but I can't believe there hasn't been a wall of flames. Like every other like magic casting game, even in like Dark Souls, which is odd, there's like spells. There's always a wall of fire in these like fantasy casting games. And now we are equal. Well, way better, of course, because of Path of Exile, but it's nice to be a part of the Wall Flame Club now, don't you think?
Yeah, I don't see you ever touching it.
No, I'm probably not.
The idea is really cool, but to me, it's like you've just added an extra button, especially to use it in its new cool way where you can fire projectiles through it.
Yeah.
And they now cause fire damage. I think that's really cool. But what happens if you like throw a fireball through a wall of flames? Does it get more fire damage?
Oh, wouldn't it be neat if it just got bigger visually? That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Check out my big balls. So remember when I was talking about chain hook a while ago in one of our previous episodes and, the movement skill? Remember how I wanted a skill that instead of pulled me to enemies, it pulled the enemies to me? That's what I wanted chain hook to be.
Yeah, there's gloves that do that.
Well, guess what? Now it exists. There's a big void ball.
It's a very D3 skill. I mean, it's been in a lot of our RPG games.
Just love it. Just love it. I'm just basically a PoE prophet. Okay. I say, hey, listen, I wish Chain Hook did this and that. And they're like, well, okay, well, we're going to listen to this guy. Don't you think that's what it was like?
No, not at all.
I do.
It's a cool skill.
Yeah. I think it's awesome.
The thing is, to me, like a lot of times your skills and your whether it's spells or attack, they tend to have a large area that they affect. So quite often you don't actually need to suck enemies into the middle. So yeah. I maybe it will have a bigger use. I'm not really sure, but a lot of times people make builds that clear screens. I don't think they need to be worried about, what the radius is of this little circle that's going to pull enemies into it.
But it doesn't affect uniques. I don't remember if it affects rares, but it does work for magic and normal. So it's not a skill that can be primary, but I can see it working really well with stuff like, I think I saw them using Blade Vortex with it, or other skills like, you could use Cyclone, other things that, have that specific area of concentration. But I don't know. I think it's cool. It's nice to have. I think it looks awesome. And I love that they call it the black hole, right? The original celestial.
Needs a proper celestial skin though.
That's right. Hey, that would look cool though. But I'm not.
So would the wall of flames with the celestial skin.
Oh, nah. You know what? I like it. They save the wall of flames for when they come out with that pirate minion expansion that I've been talking about. That's obviously going to happen. Whatever color theme that has, that's what you make the MTX for the wall of flames.
No.
Yes, you are incorrect again. You and I have mentioned a few times that Path of Exile is more of an RNG game than a skill game. Obviously, that applies a lot more to softcore than hardcore players, but referencing the new spells, these new spells encourage a lot more standing, like the standing still play style. You know what I mean? Being careful about where you stand and or how you're going to like cone enemies in towards you. And I thought it was cool. Like both Chris and Ziggy pointed out that it was more about the standing still build style. But I thought it was awesome that GGG recognized that there are a lot of skills for this, you know, that require standing still a lot longer. And a lot of the times when we see people, whether it's broadcasting or, you know, you see a YouTube video about this sweet thing, it's just zoom, 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 and it's just movement speed that's the savior all the time. It was nice to see some emphasis on the slower paced standing still casting. Or, I mean, it could be melee too, but it was nice to see the standing still builds get some recognition. I thought that was cool. Yeah, you're going to do some standing still with me this league?
No, I still want to move. I just like that anything they do that makes it so you don't feel like you have to be stupidly fast is good for me. I like that. I just want to point out that I didn't realize this, that once you trigger the heist, that the guards spawn infinitely. You actually can't kill them all.
Oh, it's infinite waves?
Yep. So your best bet is just to get through them and get out as quickly as you can.
Is it infinite XP?
Well, that's what I was wondering too. Like, so, because it would suck if it was no XP.
But, yes, it would.
Yeah, I don't actually know how they'll do that. But yeah, apparently they will spawn infinitely once the alarm is triggered.
Yeah. What if you had a super strong build? I mean, who knows? They probably thought of it, but what if you had a super strong build or you didn't care
like
about
an
the
AFK build or something where you could just leave it overnight?
Yeah.
100. I would do it 100%.
That would be pretty sweet for sure. That's really cool to know, though. Where'd you find that?
Just in one of their facts, and they did cool. An AMA or whatever. It was a question, I guess.
Missed that. Nice find, Just. Nice find. Now, this is some console love here, but I thought it was really cool this time around. They have the release date for both PC and console listed this time. There's a countdown to both. They're both getting the same love. It's awesome.
What? You just made like two other people happy?
Console people matter too, Justin. I'm going to walk around I'm going to make like picket signs on your new grass, make holes on your new grass. Not picket. Console people matter.
It's debatable. In like even lower important news, PoE will be out on Mac with Heist, which is good.
Yeah, that's awesome for Mac.
It is good for some people.
That's pretty sweet. Yep. Yeah.
Nice that they'll be able to play.
Hey, but it's all going to be the same world, right? Not like console where it's separate.
Well, you got to get those people who are buying like a shiny white computer because they got money. They'll buy your packs.
That's right, but it is the same world. Like it's not a Mac world and a Windows world and a console world. It's Mac and Windows are together, so that's nice.
Yeah. Did you see the supporter packs that came out?
I did.
What'd you think?
Not for me, but I think they look cool, but they're not for me.
You didn't like either of them?
The dark one I think looks cooler than the other one, but I don't like character effects. I like the style of MTX, with the exception of the clown outfit that I bought, the Ringmaster. I like the realistic looking ones more. And so when they're advertised, and it's not like a fault to what the actual product looks like, but when they're advertised and they have the, what's it called? The character effects spinning around them. I don't like character effects. I don't like the extra spinning.
I think it's cool that this is the first time that the character effects will actually change as you kill more. It's kind of cool.
That to me is really cool. I do really like that prospect. I don't own any character effects, but that is neat. Now, is that only for those two, or did they make that change to all of them?
I don't think it's all of them. I just know it is those two.
It's the direction MTX are headed. They're getting more interactive per se.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I don't mind the dark one. The light one's not my favorite, but I do like the dark one. I'll probably get it.
You know what's really cool with this pet sale that they have going on? I guess it's a hideout and pet sale. I'm probably going to get a dog or two. Wouldn't it be cool if I could, for some completely pointless reason, pet my dog? Yeah. I'm speaking to 3 pet lovers out there. They know. They're nodding.
They wouldn't want to pet a virtual dog.
People want to pet dogs. Of course they do. There's a pet expansion for Sims. Come on, get out of here. You can pet your dog at your Red Dead Online camp. Get out of here. People like petting things.
Easy, Ty.
Anyway, I'm really excited. I think this is awesome. So I guess you've kind of already answered this though at an excruciatingly long length, but your concerns for this league, last league, your concerns in a fortunate way didn't come to fruition, right? After we played a whole bunch of gameplay, it ended up that the concerns weren't relevant, which is nice. What are your concerns about this one?
The actual league itself, I don't think I have any. It looks cool. There's so little to know right now still. Like,
yeah,
we know the mechanic. I like that, but we've talked about it before, and I've talked about it with people in Discord. I really have a hard time getting fully figured out until I get to see the patch notes.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little bit, but I think it's a cool mechanic. I think the league's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said before, I hope that at some point GGG debates or has a conversation about keeping people who have made it to maps in maps.
Mm-hmm.
But the league part of this heist looks awesome.
League content, rewards. I mean, look at the stuff that they're testing with us that they say they're not testing with us, right? Like they have the new implicits. They have new enchantments. They have new, I guess it's implicits, the base types. They have new quality to gems. I mean, oh my goodness, look at the direction that this is going based on feedback. They have a new, like, just on league content, but the I don't know, magic rolling machine for mods. You know what I mean? Like where those really cool rares. I forget if it was just on the ones with good enchantments or not, but they're just going to roll good rolls. There's just so much cool stuff happening. I'm going to have a very difficult time playing standard this league.
You know, one thing that will be a little bit annoying about the alternate gems that I was just thinking about.
What?
Quite often when I get to end game, I will adjust my filter so that I'm not seeing low quality gem drops.
Okay.
But what happens if an item that has a cool alternate quality drops? Because they apparently can drop. I don't know if they can drop as like no quality yet added to it, but it does have the alternate quality tag or like name under it.
Oh, so you can alt and find out what the new quality is.
Well, but I don't know, because quality doesn't show on any item until you quality it. You don't know what any skill is going to give you as a quality until you actually quality it or go on the wiki.
I think I read on one of the two, whether it was the Q&A or the AMA afterwards, but I think if you hold alt, it tells you what the quality is on an item now.
Oh, is that new? Okay, that'd be cool. So
yeah, so I don't know if that's just for those gems or if it's for all gems, but that sounds familiar.
I'm just curious though, that if a low level but alternate quality gem drops, I wonder if that's something that is in your weird filter world of being able to filter, because you might actually want a low level but alternate quality gem to show where you wouldn't want the low level normal quality gem to show.
Well, I definitely do hope that if for whatever filter changes there are this league, that they're communicated better than they were in Harvest. But currently there isn't, I guess there's no way to test that now, because right now you can only determine gems by level, by quality percentage, or by the name of the gem itself. That's it. So it's, it'd be interesting.
So Heist, what are you most excited for currently?
I'm so excited for the new items, but I know they're not core yet. I'm so excited for the new, the new base types. I'm excited for the new quality. I think it's all of that. And I think it's coupled really well, because I'm not normally excited about the league mechanics itself, but I'm really excited about going through this and picking up my old Rainbow Six strategy guide and pretending to apply it to Path of Exile. It all hits me the same. I'm really excited for it. And I just see so much future core content with items here. My final answer, Bob, is all of it.
Wow, that's like the worst answer ever.
I know. It's all of it's a 10 out of 10 to me. All of it, except for the cat with the monocle. It better be funny.
And curse changes?
Every other cat, that makes me pee my pants. But once I read the article about it, then I'll be able to reapply it to my guides. And then it'll be okay because it's the new norm. Like that's not league specific. This is the way curses are. So I'm peeing my pants now, but I'm going to get it. I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to play with it and then it'll be good. But yeah, to me, this is like a 10 out of 10 across the board. Without playing it, it's a 10 out of 10. Content, league, everything. I'm freaking excited. How about you? What are you most excited for?
What am I most excited for?
Yeah.
I am most excited to be applying some tenacity on my lawn this weekend and then seeding it. That's definitely up there, right at the top.
All right.
If you're talking heist, the actual mechanic of heist to me is cool. I don't care about all the other stuff. I'll care about it when I get into the game, but like I've never cared about new uniques dropping just because you either have to find them or buy them anyway. So I'm not going to plan a build around them. I 100% would not be planning to build around an alternate quality gem right now because I have no clue how they drop, how you get them.
Yep.
And like I said before, I hate Act 1 through 10. So it's really hard for me to get on board with being like, yes, I'm going to try and get this alternate quality gem and then level another character. So I am really excited for the heist mechanic. It to me is, like I said, it's a fun version of Betrayal. It's not that I hated Betrayal. I just don't fully get it. And I know I could watch some YouTube videos and there are some really great guides out there for walking you through how to deal with Betrayal, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
So this mechanic actually looks enjoyable.
Can I change my answer? It's not going to be global. It's not going to be global. It's not going to be everything.
Go ahead.
Though I am co-op.
Oh, yeah.
I've never played a league with you where both of our accounts mattered.
Yep, I agree.
Because you're league only and I'm apathetic to league only, it's like just an easy mutual understanding that you're doing the league and I'm just going to sit back and then whenever a map is ready, we're going. And I'm almost never in my hideout, right? So I'm really excited for us to be able to work together like a real co-op game. And I mean, I don't know if we can stay in your world per se, or if we have to bounce back and forth, but I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to both of us play together, not just co-op, but play together where everything we do matters to both of us. It actually sounds like a real co-op game.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be co-op experiences because we'll still have to be doing our atlas and our maps to get these things, right? You're not going to be in heist all the time. So I agree with you. I'm super pumped for it. It would be, it would be nice to one day see a change to the atlas as well so that we can actually play all of Endgame together. But it is really cool to have a league that the entire mechanic is playable as multiplayer. Thanks, good.
So final answer, Bob, co-op.
Awesome. Well, I think that just about wraps up episode 44, Forever Exiled. I am Justin, aka Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days. The Canucks are still tied with 10 minutes to go in the game. It might go to overtime, game 7.
I hope somebody wasn't waiting till like Monday.
Listen, no kidding. It's not like they're avoiding a Path of Exile podcast so they don't get a Vegas or a Vancouver spoiler.
That's right. Anyway, thanks a lot for joining us for episode 44. You can find out more information down below. We've got a website, foreverexiled.com. We have a Twitter, foreverexiled82. We have a Discord that you can join anytime. It's awesome. A lot of cool people in there. Patreon link is down below if you're interested in supporting the podcast. And we will catch you next episode. Peace.
See ya.